So what exactly should be installed? Well, the Search and Play application, and you'll use that to look up shows, to find the shows that you want to listen to, and to be able to preview them right from within the app. Complete shows will be available using that app, and you can just look for what you want to play and play it. So that would be the Search and Play application. And as I mentioned, we included links for 2 additional installers, one for iTunes and one for QuickTime. Mac users, of course, don't need to worry about this portion, but if you're on a Windows machine, you will have to install those. So let's go ahead and install Search and Play first, and then once we've done that, we'll go ahead and install the Swing Thing library. Installing Search and Play. So on a Mac or PC, which is it? If you're a Mac user, just double-click the DMG file that's included with the distribution and drag Search and Play into your Applications folder. And that is all you need to do to install Search and Play on a Mac. Let's go ahead and take a look at how that's done. Look for the DMG file with Search and Play for Swing Thing. There's also an installer here for PC, so if you're a PC user, you'd be using this one. But the procedure is a little different there, so we'll cover that in the next section. But here, this is really easy for the Mac. You just double-click this DMG file. It'll pop up a little window and just give you a little something to read, and you can click OK. What'll happen is this window will pop open. And then all you have to do is just click and drag this right into your Applications folder. Now I've already got it in mine, so let's just take a look and see that once it goes in and it's done loading, it'll be right here. And then you can just double click it and launch it, and it's ready to go. So that's all there is to installing Search and Play on a Mac. Now we're going to look at the installation for Search and Play for PC users. First thing you're going to want to do is use the link I provided for the QuickTime installer, and go ahead and double click that and then download and install QuickTime. Do the same thing with iTunes. Again, I provided a link in the distribution. And then once that is done, then we'll go ahead and install Search and Play. So let's see how it's done. Installing Search and Play on your PC is easy. It's a little different from the way we did it on a Mac. As you'll recall, on a Mac we double-clicked the DMG, and then when that expanded we just dragged the Search and Play app into the Applications folder and we were done. On a PC it's a little different. There are a couple of additional requirements. I have included here the links to the Apple website where you can download QuickTime and where you can also download iTunes. However, if you to install Search and Play, you can just begin by double-clicking on the Search and Play installer right here. It'll actually prompt you to install QuickTime, and then you can do that. So I'll just go ahead and click yes on all the questions that it asks, and we'll allow it to do its thing here. So the Search and Play app realizes that you need to have QuickTime installed, and so it's stopping here to tell you that QuickTime is required. Would you like to install it now? You could just click yes. You'll get a little second window here. It just says please restart the setup program after installing the prerequisite, which is QuickTime. So we'll just click OK, and then what it'll do is it'll open up a web browser window and go directly to the Apple website where you can download QuickTime and install it. Now the email address here is not required, so if you don't want to enter an email address, don't worry about that. Just click Download Now. You can see down here that it is downloading the installer. And once it's done, just go ahead and click on that in order to launch it. It'll pop up the normal security warnings, and you can just click through, just click Run, and then just follow the instructions after that. So we'll click Next on this, and click Yes, we agree to the terms, and we'll just choose a typical installation. And we'll click Install. And we'll click Yes. So now it's going to install QuickTime. We'll just wait for this to finish. Maybe I'll speed this up a little bit, and then when it's done, we'll continue. Okay, so it's done, and now you just click on Finish, and you can ignore this ad for the Pro version. Just click on No Thanks. That's done. You've installed QuickTime. So now we can come back and double click the installer for Search and Play again, and it'll be able to complete the installation. Let's go ahead and do that now. Again, it pops up a little window here. Just click Yes, and then it'll just kind of walk you through the whole process here. So let's do that. We'll click Next. Again, it asks you to read through this. If you accept it, just click Next. It's going to install Search and Play into your Documents directory rather than into the Applications folder. So that's normal, and that's what you should expect it to do. So just click Next. It'll put a shortcut on the desktop for you. We'll click Next on that. And finally, we'll click Install. Okay, so it's done, and you can uncheck this box if you don't want to launch Search and Play right away. Otherwise, just click Finish, and momentarily it'll open up and show you the Search and Play app. I usually collapse the window down to a smaller size. You can do that with the container around it as well. And that way it doesn't take up quite so much of your hard drive here. We can just make this a little bit smaller, a little bit more narrow like that. That's usually what I would do on a PC, so it doesn't eat up all your screen real estate, but you can adjust and fix this up any way you want. So that's the way that we install Search and Play. Now it's ready to go. You just click here and Search and Play will run. By the way, we did not install iTunes yet, even though I showed that on the list. In actuality, installing iTunes is only necessary once you're ready to copy the Swing Thing library for iTunes, the actual library of shows, into it. And so we're going to do that in another movie coming up.